So that certain Aquaman starlet is definitely panicking, as JD's witness list has now been made public. Now this list, it'll definitely grow too, and you and I were going to talk about everybody on here. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. Oh man, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And before we begin, we have a brand new comic book. A link is in the description. This is how we stay sponsor free, beholden to no one, so we can talk about what we want, and we fight these companies that do not respect us. More on that at the end of the video. Thank you. Now, if you're looking at that list of names and you're wondering who exactly are those people, that umbrella guy, well, we got you covered here. Props to the real Laura B on Twitter. Check her out. She's the person who initially posted this. Check out her podcast too, Myths and Monsters. It is amazing. I cannot say enough good things about it. Also here, check out Izzy at Izzy1122. Why? Because she breaks all of this down. Check this out. So, first witness here. Obviously, you know who JD is. He's going to be testifying for himself. Sean Bett. Sean Bett was one of JD's bodyguards. He witnessed that certain Aquaman starlet throwing wine bottles in 2016. So this is somebody that is brought in to directly refute what she says. Gina D. Gina D is the wife of Stephen D. Big supporter of JD, can come in for a character witness and also probably directly refute quite a few of the things that were said. Stephen D., big player in this. He was JD's assistant, CEO of JD's European production company. He's been by JD's side since 2016, testified for him in the UK. He was around during some of those big incidents. He directly refuted part of them, saying that's not what happened at all. Interesting stuff. I mean, he seemed very believable too. Ben King. Now, Ben King is an amazing wild card here because Ben King, he worked for JD around 2014 to 2015. He was a cleanup person. He cleaned up Australia. He found the severed finger, but also he set a baseline for that certain Aquaman starlet's consumption. Why does that matter? Well, she says substance abuse equals other types of abuse. Well, she definitely was a substance abuser. He also saw her after all of this stuff supposedly transpired in Australia. In her words there, yeah, they don't play well in court at all. Now we have Malcolm Connolly, another bodyguard here, one that was trained in spotting all of the things that should have been on that certain Aquaman starlet if all of these things that JD supposedly did, if they actually happened. Well, he didn't see any of it. And not only that, he lied about JD's finger. He said that on the record because he was told to protect her. So he said it had got caught in a screen door and other things. Yeah, that's how that came about. Travis Mcgiver. Travis Mcgiver was another security guard who witnessed the spitting, the punching, the throwing. So, as far as that Aquaman starlet is concerned, yeah, you have another person that testified to it. My favorite of the bunch, Starling Jenkins. Starling Jenkins was a security guard at the Eastern Columbia building and had to pay a homeless man to give JD's phone back after that certain Aquaman starlet threw it off a penthouse balcony April 2016. It's amazing. You have an awesome breakdown of it. 3 chicken tacos and so much more. That one is a good one. We'll have to go over that again before the case. Dr. David Kipper. Dr. David Kipper was the private doctor for JD, helped him detox. He also was helping clean up the finger for JD, and he recommended that certain Aquaman starlet be sedated. He had a lot to say about that certain Aquaman starlet too. Now, Isaac B., longtime friend of JD, lived in one of the penthouses that JD owned and saw that certain Aquaman starlet changing the locks to their penthouses. And well, he can also say what he saw when it came to that certain Aquaman starlet as far as things that are missing, like marks and on. Now, number 11 here, Kevin Murphy. He's also a big one. He can speak to what happened in Australia. He can speak to a certain thing that was left on the bed sheets. He's one that saw that and photographed it. That's how we have photographs there. And he also photographed things that supposedly happened when one of those incidents transpired. Yeah, he called that out. And you know what? I think he was definitely right. Number 12. Christian C. Christian C. was JD and that certain Aquaman starlet's talent agent. He received a lot of texts from them during the breakup in 2016, so he can attest to some of the things that went on and probably refute some of them as well. Christy D., JD's sister, co-runner of his production company, convinced JD to sign a prenuptial. JD also asked her to have that certain Aquaman starlet replaced in Aquaman when she still had a deal with WB. So that's how some of these claims came to pass. There's a lot more that deals with her too that she can say, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Tara Roberts. Now, Tara Roberts was a fascinating testimony because she was the estate manager of JD's private island. She said that she witnessed what happened with that certain Aquaman starlet. She saw the physicality. She saw the verbal abuse. She also saw an injury caused because of a can hitting JD in the face. Now, as far as 15, Edward L. White, that's JD's current business manager who helped him sue his former estate management for mismanaging and losing him tons of money. That's important because they're going to bring up prior litigation. They're going to try to say, oh, look what JD said. Well, yeah, they know better here. Sam Sarker, he's a former sound technician. Not exactly sure why he's going to be there, but at least we know exactly who he is. Paul Bettany, big person here, Marvel star and so much more. Good friend of JD, co-star of him. You saw his texts being made public. Well, he knows a lot of what went on behind the scenes. He can talk about it. He can attest, and he can also say, this didn't happen as well. Keenan Wyatt. Now, Keenan Wyatt is important because you see the media and that certain Aquaman starlet attack JD, saying, he's too lazy or too drugged up to read lines. Well, this guy, he was the person that fed him music and more into an earpiece while filming. That's going to make good testimony, too, because that whittles away at what that certain Aquaman starlet wants to say. Jack W. is JD's current agent, probably subpoenaed about roles JD has lost and why, so he can give you testimony refuting a lot of things that are being said. They're going to bring in a prior agent, Tracy Jacobs. I would imagine that's why. So Leonardo Damian, he was the head of JD's private security team who accidentally shot himself in the leg while JD's a property and was accused of creating an unsafe work environment. That one, well, I don't know a lot about that one, but that one's interesting. Robin Baum was JD's publicist who he's rumored to have an affair with and who issued his official public statement May 2016. Number 22, Andy Milner. Now, Andy Milner was an engineer on the Hollywood Vampires album. The JD he wrote most of the lyrics for, probably a character witness, maybe can refute some of the things that went on. We don't really know exactly why. Samantha McMillan, number 23, big dog on this list, stylist of that certain Aquaman starlet when she appeared on the James Corden show. That was right after one of the alleged incidents transpired. She said, I had all of these terrible things happening. Well, Samantha McMillan said, I didn't witness any of that, and you know what? I did your makeup. Adam Waldman, attack dog extraordinaire, JD's lawyer or former lawyer on the case until he was kicked off for quote-unquote leaking private info. Such garbage there. He was putting out evidence, basically. He was talking about what was already available, plus putting in memoriam on some of those posts. Yeah, what a terrible guy, right? This guy, by the way, he knows a lot about that case. He has been one of JD's biggest advocates. He's a big one there. They don't want him on the stand when they try to cross-examine. He could tear them apart. 25, Trinity Esparza. That was the concierge of that certain Aquaman starlet and JD's apartment building. She said, I never saw anything on them until 2 weeks after she claimed all of that stuff happened, from JD. Yeah, that's how Rocket Man ended up in the conversation. She said maybe he did it. Kate James, I'm going to skip past her name, the former assistant of that certain Aquaman starlet. She said, well, that certain Aquaman starlet stole my, I'm going to call it, ARP story. She also knew everything that happened with Australia. She knows so much there, and she does not like that certain Aquaman starlet at all. Debbie Raessel. Debbie Raessel is JD's other sister who lived on 41-acre property until he had to sell it due to mismanagement of money. Not much else is known about her out there either, so she could be talking about a character witness. She could have seen a lot of stuff going on. Not really sure what her role is. Shannon Curry, clinical and forensic psychologist, brought in to analyze that certain Aquaman starlet. Also could talk about JD, his setup as well, So she can refute. She can also say, yeah, these are the traits of that type of person. Good times there, right? Richard S. Gilbert. He's an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in hand and arm surgeries. Perhaps he's the one that did JD's hand, or he's going to talk about that there. You have Richard Marks. Richard Marks is an expert in technical forensics. We're talking about all of those pictures that certain Aquaman starlet brought in, saying, yeah, all of our evidence is real. Yeah, he's going to tear that stuff apart. Michael Spindler. Michael Spindler is a fraud examiner for accounting and business fraud. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting one, right? Doug B. Doug B is an expert in IP, social media, internet disputes, and defamation case. Basically, he's going to tear apart the bot claims. You and I are bots. Hit me up, Doug B. I'll show you I'm not a bot. I'll interview with you, whatever you need, buddy. You can show that. I do a lot of videos. Brian N., technical forensic expert for audio, visual, computer, and cell phones. Gonna tear some more of that stuff apart. You can feel it, can't you? You can feel all of that stuff falling. Kimberly Ann Collins, forensic pathologist. Not sure exactly why she's coming in, but at least you know exactly who she is. Dr. Richard Shaw, since that's a common name, they know there's possibilities of why he's there, but he's either a psychologist or a physician. You have Rachel Frost, retired police officer, threat examiner and manager, so you can talk about exactly what was there, how people are trained, and so much more. There's going to be other people that are brought in too. I'm sure there's big names that you didn't notice on there. Their testimony, it'll either be in deposition form, they'll either give short form testimony, or again, they'll be included. But yeah, that gives you an idea of some of the players, and there's more players to come. Like I said earlier, we have a brand new comic book. Link is in the description. This is how we stay sponsor-free, beholden to no one, and we fight back against companies that don't respect you as customers. They put out shoddy products. Yeah, we can either walk away from the things we love, or we can make our own thing here. I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll help us back there too. And as always, like I said, thank you for being here. Appreciate the heck out of you. And until next time, well, see you soon.